Lads, I said to you before, and I hate international breaks. What about you?
Yeah, the same. Obviously, it's if you're involved in international, I think you're enjoying it. But when you're not, we sort of get a game cancelled. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? But it's what it is.
So did you have a bit of time to yourself, or was it mostly training?
No, we got a few days off. It was a bit lucky, so I managed to go back to Denmark to see my family, my girlfriend, and all that one. So I enjoyed the few days off, but back to work now.
So you got to go a bit of time to go back to Denmark then?
Yeah, we got obviously we've been working hard for a long time, so we got a few days off, and it was enough time for me to get a flight and go back. So I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Is the World Cup fever kicking in? I saw the release of the new Danish shirts for the World Cup. Is the feeling back in Denmark? Looking forward to the World Cup now?
Yeah, I think so. I saw that the other day with the shirt, so obviously don't want to get into that, but I guess it's alright, isn't it? It's a good signal to send. But yeah, no, we're all looking forward to it. It's not a long time to the World Cup now.
I wanted to ask you about youth development, because you're kind of now out the other end. You're in your early 20s. You're a senior player. But I looked at your past. You were at Esbjerg, then you went to Stoke, and you were in the youth setup at Stoke. We've seen the new head of the academy come here at Lincoln. If you were talking to young players about how to make your way through that structure, I appreciate this is a different club. What advice would you give to yourself, sort of 6-7 years ago?
Just think embrace sort of when you've got all the facilities and all that stuff, and just make the most of it. That's always what I thought of with things. So when I look back in the players I used to play with, they've gone through all the way, and the ones who's not, most of the time the ones that goes in every day and do the best they can and really work hard and make the most of it, most of the time actually get something out of it. If it's not in Lincoln, it might be somewhere else, but at least get a career out of it. And but if you just go in and just sort of don't really want to do the work sort of thing, then you're just they're not going to go all the way. So just make the most of it, I think.
I guess it's a bit like school, isn't it, really? If you put the effort in, you hopefully get the reward.
Yeah, that's what it is. So obviously you can have all the talent, but it's the classic saying is obviously you need to work hard. Talent's not enough. So I think that's what it is. But embrace them.
It might sound an odd thing to somebody you're said in your early 20s, but there's a lot of younger players in the squad at Lincoln. Do you sort of see part of your role as, if they want a bit of advice, giving them some stuff?
Well, I think we're a good group, so I don't think it's just me. I think it's everybody. If anybody needs advice, we can just sort of go to anybody. I think that's what it is. Obviously, if anybody wants my advice, I'm happy to help anybody. You know what I mean? But I think we've got loads of players there. They're similar in terms of want to help each other, want to make each other better. So I think we've got a good group, and you see that every day. And it's just in the day to day, and in when we train and that, we push each other. So I think that's really good. Yeah.
You're getting a lot of game time this season, I assume, with a smile on your face. You're enjoying it.
Yeah, of course I am. Yeah, that's the main thing about football. That's what you enjoy, when you play. But it's always, you need to make sure you keep playing. So I need to make sure I will perform and play well, so I can stay in the team. So because that's what football is about. You might play, but then it's always somebody trying to get in the team. But no, of course I'm enjoying it. I'm learning all the time. I'm trying to keep improving, and that's the main thing, I think.
And when you look back at the last league game, the Bristol game, lots of pluses, but in a way, it's good for a manager. It was an odd thing to say, but he had a lot of concerns as well defensively, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think so. Yeah, obviously we scored 6 goals, which is great, but it wasn't our best performance in terms of the overall performance. So there's definitely things we need to do better to the next game in that game. But defensively, it's a whole team thing. If you look back and see the things that happen, so that's what our focus is on the next game to do better. But no, of course we're happy with the result. We can't be too unhappy with it. So, but yeah, that's what it is.